In this last video then, on the pose and motion tools, we will see the operation of the match last option. This allows us to offset poses and motions in space. In a case where we were wanting to take something like the camera here and copy, pose, paste it to the lights position, then the match really wouldn't do much because obviously it goes to that position anyway. What it would do though is hold the camera's existing position. Now, in a simple case like this, let's say that we're going to try and use the lights pose on the camera, so I'll just copy that pose, select the camera, choose match last and hit paste. We see that the camera gets the rotation applied, but it stays in its existing place. That of course is no different than if we pasted the motion without position activated. In single item settings like this, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. However, where it comes in really useful is in a few other situations, mainly with whole rigs, or indeed with any kind of item motion. So if we take our light here, we'll switch to motion mode, we'll copy its motion, just for the whole range there. We'll come over to where of course it ends, which is here. We'll turn on match last and click paste, and we see that the motion is repasted not just from the current time but restarting from the current position in space, and it repeats on like this. Similarly, if we take the camera here, we've got the match turned on, we click paste, then we see that the motion is pasted from the camera's starting position there like that. A more interesting demonstration might be something like this, where we've got a simple walk cycle taking place on just a plain old bone hierarchy here. This is a FBX bone hierarchy, and it's doing a walk, but just a single cycle here. What we'll do is we'll select all of the bones here, like this, or alternatively, we could just use bone selection mode here, because this is a case where we are just selecting all of the bones of the current object. We'll copy the motion. Again, we'll just do the whole range here. Come out to the last frame, which of course is pretty much a pose copy of the first frame there we see. We'll choose this trailing toe joint, so that is our last selected item. Turn on match last, and when we click paste, we see that the motion is pasted, but it is matched to that last selected item. The whole motion is shifted to cause that item to match. We can come out here, we haven't changed anything, we can just paste again. The match of course maintains because this is still our last selected item, and we're able to loop and loop and loop the walk cycle just like this. Here's a good demonstration of why it is the match last, and it will be the last selected item. Here we've got the Genoma spider rig, which I've animated rather badly and basically doing just a single walk. It steps from its right to its left and back to its right again, so it's one singular cycle there. In this case, I need to select a whole bunch of items and use the cell method here. The animation at the minute is only on these foot goals, which I'm selecting like this, as well as the root mover item here, which notice I'm selecting last. Again, we'll take the motion, copy it for the range starting at frame 1 there, can come out to this end of it there, the end of the cycle, turn on match last, click paste, and you see that that last item is the one that gets positionally matched for the entire rig. And so there we go. We've got a loop cycle like that. Just like before with the bones, we can paste it again, and there's another loop, and you can see that we are very quickly and easily turning one cycle into a long continuous cycle. Just to demonstrate how this works, let's look at it done another way. The Genoma rig has this master Genoma spider controller, which is of course the absolute top item containing the entire rig there. Perhaps one way I could have done this is to choose the selected and children, copy their motion, again just grab the whole range there, come out to the last frame, select last, this root item, which is what I want to match, choose match last, click paste, and bingo, as we see, it's all stayed in place. and the spider continues walking from that point. It does, however, now seem a little odd because, of course, at one point we've got the main root stuffed in place there and everything appears to slink backwards out of step. Of course, it is matching at that point, and you'll notice the item that is shifted is, of course, this root item. When I had the root null and all of the leg goals selected individually, none of the leg goals are children of the main root here. That's independent of them. As such, every item that I had selected, each of the leg goals and the root item had its positions shifted. In the case where I had this item selected, because it was the top of the hierarchy, it got a shift to compensate for the position of this. Of course, this is very rig dependent, and as you can see, doing it like this can create a bit of mess. So when you are using the match item like this, you have to keep an eye on what is the top level items that are going to get shifted. In a case like this, it's more proper to do it on the individual goals and the root item itself. Whether you're matching to the root item or to one of the leg goals makes no difference. All of them are top level items within the set of items you have selected. And having all of those shifted is much easier than trying to shift a global root. Of course, this all works wonderfully for a Rigit rig, so we can take just a simple animation on someone like a singular walk cycle from left to right and back to left again. We can copy that motion, we'll just copy the whole range of it. Come back to the end of it, we can see here, of course, that the last frame is pretty much just a clone of the first there, just at a different space. The trailing foot here is, of course, the last item in contact, so that's where we're going to want to make it stick. Turn on the match, click paste. There's another cycle, we get to the end, we click paste. And of course, like this, we can go on sketching out a whole cycle. Rather than do it one cycle at a time, if we've got a bunch and we want to make it even longer, then of course we can just recopy the whole motion there, which we've gotten so far. That was 3 full cycles that are now copied. Come again, we've still got that selected, match last, click paste. Pastes in another 3 cycles. And so like that, you can very, very quickly build up your animation. This match also, of course, works with poses, just in the same way that it works with motions. So if you took, I don't know, let us say this pose as it stands here for the whole rig, copy that, and let's say it was going to be from somewhere around here, match, paste. You see that pose is refitted to the pasted position there. This also works with the reset, so if you had some point in your animation where you were just wanting to jump back to base pose in order to begin a new pose, then you can find the point in the animation where you might want that to be, and of course the item that you might want to be held in place, perhaps this one here. Turn on the match, pose, and click reset. And so there we go. Those are the pose and motion tools that are available on the animation toolbox. We've seen how they work both in general mode and Rigit rig mode, and all of the options for mirroring, matching, copying, pasting, and working with things in a way that will greatly, massively improve the efficiency of our working with animations.